Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. My name is Rachel Kastner, and I've been a part of the Religious Exploration Program here for 8 years. Thank you all for joining us. Whether you are here in the sanctuary or watching us on Facebook Live at home or sitting out on our pavilion, we are no less grateful if you have found another time to watch the recorded service on Facebook or YouTube. Today, as we approach the longest night of the year, we honor our journey from light to darkness and, with hope, back to light again. Almost all traditions and cultures have stories and histories that mark this seasonal change and our shared human hope that with returning light will also come a more just and peaceful world. The words and deeds of prophetic women and men from all these traditions remind us, however, that our hopes will never be fulfilled unless we choose to live them out through our own actions. And now, let's settle ourselves into this time together with this morning's prelude.
Fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered friends and reverence here to celebrate the longest night. Light of our hearts, fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered friends in reverence here to celebrate the longest night. Light of our hearts, fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered friends in reverence here to celebrate the longest night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered friends in reverence here to celebrate the longest night.
When asked what actions are most excellent, the Prophet Muhammad said, to gladden the heart of a human being, to feed the hungry, to help the afflicted, to lighten the sorrow of the sorrowful, to remove the wrongs of the injured. Let us not forget. When asked, who is fit to hold power and worthy to act in God's place, the psalmist responded, those with a passion for the truth, who are horrified by injustice, who act with mercy to the poor and take up the cause of the helpless, who have let go of selfish concerns and see the whole of creation as sacred. Let us not forget. When asked, what are the greatest commandments? Jesus, carpenter of Nazareth, answered, to love your Creator, to love your neighbor, to undermine oppressive powers with life-giving actions, to be in solidarity with all who suffer, to act for justice and teach others to act in the same way. Let us not forget. On this day, we acknowledge that we often fall short from living out the call to justice that our principles and sacred stories place upon us. So let us now listen to inspiring words from different traditions and lift our voices in songs of hope, and let us recommit to a life in common purpose with good people of all faiths, bending our words and actions towards justice, equity, and compassion for all. Please join me in the chalice lighting response you'll see on the screen and on your orders of service. May this flame stir our hearts and remind us of our mission to be truly welcoming, to grow in mind and spirit, and to widen the circle of peace, justice, and love. Are you good with one of these? There you go. Excellent job. And let's rise as you're willing and able to join in our opening hymn, our opening song, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, text from Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi. We'll do this as a round, if that's okay. I'll take this side in the pavilion. You guys in the choir can have that side. And we'll just keep going as long as we want to, okay? Let's sing it all through together once, and then we'll split. Wonderful. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Please be seated.
Principle is a Principle by Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was born into one of the classic Hindu traditions and learned much through his study of the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita. Gandhi likely borrowed the religious principle of ahimsa, doing no harm, from his Jain neighbors, and from it developed his own famous principle of satyagraha, truth force, later on in his life. Gandhi's mission was not only to humanize religion, but to moralize it. He wrote, "For me, the different religions are beautiful flowers from the same garden, or they are branches of the same majestic tree." But his focus was on morality and justice. Gandhi would reject any religious doctrine which was in conflict with morality, and he did not abide people who claimed to be religious who did not live according to the moral tenets of their faith. Excuse me. Throughout his emphasis on the important and common moral teachings of all traditions, Gandhi's own religious perspective continued to acquire a more universalistic outlook. He wrote, "A principle is a principle, and in no case can it be watered down because of our incapacity to live it in practice. We have to strive to achieve it, and the striving should be conscious, deliberate, and hard." Gandhi also said, "There is a power now slumbering within us, which, if awakened, would do to evil what light does to darkness."
Hearts call, hearts fall, swallowed in the rain. Who knows life grows hollow and so vain, wandering in the winter light, the wicked and the sane bear witness to salvation, and life starts over again. Now the clear sky is all around you. Life's shadow will surround you all through the night. Star glowing in the twilight, tell me true. Hope whispers, and I will follow till you love me too. Now the clear sky is all around you. Life's shadow will surround you all through the night. Star glowing in the twilight, tell me true. Hope whispers, and I will follow till you love me too.
In Iran, following the death of the 22-year-old Mahsa Amini for violating dress rules in that country, have been nothing less than stunning and horrifying. Brave women and men have risked much to take to the streets, continuing to protest in the face of violent government response, arrest, and torture. One 28-year-old women's rights activist known as Gulshan is quoted as saying, "We don't have one leader. The beauty and strength of our movement is that every single one of us is a leader. We want to be heard." As we watch, we are both inspired by and fearful for the protesters. We wonder whether we would have the courage to do what they are doing now. This poem by Islamic philosopher, politician, and poet Mohammed Iqbal, asks and offers us an answer. The journey of love. Where in our hearts is that burning of desire? It is true that we are made of dust and that the world is also made of dust. But the dust has motes rising. Whence comes that drive in us? We look to the starry sky, and love storms in our hearts. Whence comes that storm? The journey of love is a very long journey, but sometimes, with a sigh, you can cross the vast desert, search and search again without losing hope. You may find sometime a treasure on your way. My heart and my eyes are all devoted to that vision. So now, please remain seated as we join together in singing our centering song, number 86 in the Gray hymnal, Blessed Spirit of My Life.
Blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me. Spirit of great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed. Give the those in need. Fill me with compassion. Be the source of my intuition. Then when life is done for me, let love be my legacy.
As we gather in this season, so many thoughts and feelings rise up from our histories, our own lives, memories of good times, memories not so good. Sometimes we struggle in this season to find joy. Sometimes it just bubbles up. In this time of sharing, I hope that you will share with others something more immediate that you might be feeling, a joy or a sorrow, remembering that we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. I hope that also that you'll remember this is a time for private reflection of personal joys and sorrows, not of events coming up, political or otherwise. We remember this morning, we celebrated the life of Rick Bryan yesterday, Patty's husband Rick. It was a wonderful occasion. The family all spoke and just shared their love and joy of Rick, who passed away in August. And we enjoyed ice cream afterwards. That was also really good. We mourned the passing of James Ward also this past week, a past member of the congregation, but also just a regular in our forum, Sunday morning forum programs. So intelligent and bright and always there with a good question and probably an answer as well. So we mourn James's loss. On this past Friday, excuse me, Ed Ostrom celebrated his 90th birthday. Unfortunately, he and Marge have both been coping with COVID this past week. They're doing okay, but we send them our love, and we send Ed our happiest of birthday wishes. I know it's not the most pleasant of birthdays, but anytime you turn 90, I think you're doing okay. So if you have a joy or a sorrow that you'd like to share this morning, I hope you'll raise your hand. I'll bring you the microphone, and I see one shortly raised hand in the back, and I'll start with Patty, though.
First of all, I'd love to thank everybody for the support that you gave me and the love that you gave me. It was wonderful. But I also have a sorrow in that we had to put our dog down on Friday. Yeah, she was 17 and 3/4 years old, so it was not exactly unexpected, but still it was hard. Anyway, thanks again for all your help.
Hi, I'm Ellen Procopo, and I wanted to say thank you for those who sent wishes to my mom. She's doing much better after yet another fall. We're working on that. But I also want to share with you a follow-up to what I had told you about my friend Irina in Ukraine. There is a program called United for Ukraine, which allows U.S. citizens to sponsor visas for people. And she's going to come to the United States with me.
That's great. Thank you, Ellen. Anyone else? Recognizing that we all have joys and sorrows. They are what make up our lives. So we recognize all those joys and sorrows that have been left unspoken this morning. Let us enter into a time of meditation. Make of yourself a light, said the Buddha before he died. I think of this every morning as the east begins to tear off its many clouds of darkness to send up the first signal, a white fan streaked with pink and violet, even green. An old man, he lay down between two sala trees, and he might have said anything, knowing it was his final hour. The light burns upward. It thickens and settles over the fields. Around him, the villagers gathered and stretched forward to listen. Even before the sun itself hangs disattached in the blue air, I am touched everywhere by its ocean of yellow waves. No doubt, he thought of everything that had happened in his difficult life. And then I feel the sun itself as it blazes over the hills like a million flowers on fire. Clearly, I'm not needed. Yet, I feel myself turning into something of inexplicable value. Slowly, beneath the branches, he raised his head. He looked into the faces of the frightened crowd. Make of yourself a light. Share some moments in silence.
so cold this time of year. The stars would never shine so bright, so beautiful and clear. I have walked this road and my winter house was still. When I grieved for all I had made, out of all I had to give. On the eve of Christmas Day, with no reason left to live. And even then, somehow, in the bitter wind and cold, impossibly strong, I know. Even then, a bloom as tender as a rose was breaking through the snow. In the dark night of the soul, in the dark night of the soul. If it wasn't for the babe lying helpless in the straw, there would be no Christmas Day, and the night would just go on. When it seems that death has won, buried deep beneath the snow, where the summer leaves have gone, the seed of hope will grow. And even now, somehow, in the bitter wind and cold, impossibly strong, you know. Even now, a bloom as tender as a rose was breaking through the snow. In the dark night of the soul, in the dark night of the soul, in the dark night of the soul. If it wasn't for the night, so cold this time of year, the stars would never shine so bright, so beautiful and clear, so beautiful and clear.
Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a German Lutheran pastor, theologian, and anti-Nazi dissident who was a key founding member of a confessing church. This church opposed Nazism while the main German church did not. His writings on Christianity's role in the secular world have become widely influential. Apart from his theological writings, Bonhoeffer was known for his staunch resistance to the Nazi dictatorship and regime, including strong vocal opposition to Hitler's genocidal persecution of the Jews, which in the end cost him his own life. In 1934, he wrote to Mahatma Gandhi seeking help. "From all I know about you and your work," he wrote, "after having studied your books and your movement for a few years, I feel we Western Christians should try to learn from you what realization of faith means, what a life devoted to political and racial peace can attain." Bonhoeffer's life and work, however, were, in their own way, as exemplary as Gandhi's. He articulated the core of the Christian message clearly in this passage. Jesus stands knocking at the door. In total reality, he comes in the form of the beggar, of the desolate human child in ragged clothes, asking for help. He confronts you in every person that you meet. As long as there are people, he will walk the earth as your neighbor, as the one through whom God calls you, speaks to you, makes demands on you. That is the great seriousness and the great blessedness of the Advent message. Jesus is standing at the door. He lives in the form of a human being among us.
Behold that star, behold that star up yonder, behold that star, it is the star of Bethlehem. There was no room found in the inn, it is the star of Bethlehem, for him who was born free from sin. It is the star of Bethlehem. The wise men came on from the east. It is the star of Bethlehem, to worship him, the Prince of Peace. It is the star of Bethlehem. Behold that star, behold that star up yonder, behold that star, it is the star of Bethlehem. A song broke forth upon that night. It is the star of Bethlehem. From angel hosts all robed in white. It is the star of Bethlehem. Glory to God, world without end. It is the star of Bethlehem. And peace on earth, goodwill to men. It is the star of Bethlehem. Behold that star, behold that star up yonder, behold that star, it is the star of Bethlehem.
Justice, justice, you shall pursue. Rabbi Jacqueline Mates Muchin, senior rabbi of Temple Sinai in Oakland, California, writes, In Deuteronomy 16:20, we find one of the most powerful verses in all Jewish text. Justice, justice, you shall pursue. We in the Reform movement, she writes, repeat this phrase over and over. It is our battle cry whenever we go out into the world to do social justice work. It is part of the bedrock of our sense of purpose and responsibility as Jews. The repetition of the word justice in this phrase is interpreted by some commentators as implying that not only must we pursue ends that are just, we must endeavor to be just in the means by which we pursue those ends. There is no state of perfect justice because we are always learning new things, seeing different subtleties, and the world and circumstances are always changing. We must not be able to establish a perfectly just society. Instead, we must establish ourselves as a society that pursues justice as necessary and continues to be flexible with situations as the world around us changes. If we think we have perfect justice, then we didn't set our ideals high enough. May we, as a society, continually strive towards justice by enforcing the pursuit of justice. Justice, justice, we shall pursue.
מילי וכשאני לעצמי מאני ואם לא עכשיו מתי אם לא עכשיו מתי If I am not for me, who will be? If I am just for me, what does that make me? And if not now, then when? If not now, then when? מילי וכשאני לעצמי מאני ואם לא עכשיו מתי אם לא עכשיו מתי If I am not for me what does that make me? And if not now, then when? If not now, then when?
Within our own tradition today, there are voices calling out to be heard. Voices of Black, Indigenous, and people of color who are articulating a clear message that says our principles and values, as they are expressed in the language of our tradition, speak to a wider circle of people than feel comfortable within our mostly white congregations. And that change is necessary for us to live into our full potential as a movement. The people involved in Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism do not wish to separate themselves from the rest of us, except perhaps to create safe spaces where they can hold and encourage one another in the struggle. They wish instead for the rest of us to wake up and to live more fully into our values so that together we can shine a brighter light in our communities and in the world. Our final lesson, which I will share after the offertory, comes from Unitarian Universalist minister Kiyama Raman. Her message is a call to her black and brown siblings to remember those who came before and make them proud of this generation as it seeks to carry the flame of equity and justice forward. But if we listen, the message is far more universal. It asks all of us to remember that the freedoms and privileges we enjoy were won for us across decades and centuries by generation after generation of people who struggled and worked to make their ways so that their children could enjoy a better life. As long as the freedoms that were won for us, as long as the privileges of a free society are in jeopardy, there is work for us to do for those who will follow. The chalice lighting we shared this morning reflects this congregation's mission statement, reminding us to be truly welcoming, to grow in mind and spirit, and to widen the circle of peace, justice, and love. It also reflects a hope for the larger Unitarian Universalist movement as we struggle to widen our circle of love and build a more relevant and vibrant movement for the future. As we take time to reflect on all the words we've heard today and the music so wonderfully offered, let's take time to show our own gratitude for this community and all that it does. The morning's offering for the ongoing mission of this congregation will be gratefully received. Those of you online, I hope that you'll note the information on the screen and send a donation. Thank you.
One quick word about the text in the next piece that the choir is going to sing. You're going to hear some Latin, and then you're going to hear it basically translated into English. But the primary text is ad astra per aspera, which is Latin for to the stars through difficulties. It also happens to be the state motto of Kansas. It was originally composed for a Kansas choir. So, but anyway, the rest of everything else, you will hear it in Latin and then in English. So.
Astra,
Now is the time to call on the memories of the ancestors who thought they could not walk another step toward freedom, and yet they did. It is that time and place to call on the memories of the ancestors who, when the darkness in their lives threatened to take away the hope and light, reached a little deeper and prayed yet another prayer. It is that time and place to remember that those who came through the long night to witness another sunrise did so for us. Time to remember their laughter and joy, though they had far less and little reason for optimism, yet they stayed on the path toward a better day. Time to make them proud and show them and ourselves what we are made of. Time to show them that their prayers and sacrifices and lives were not in vain and did not go unnoticed, nor have they been forgotten. Did you not know that this day would come? Did you not know that we would have to change places? Have you not seen it in your neighbors' faces, in the homeless, in the battered woman, the trafficked child, the undocumented worker, the dispossessed? It is that time and place to know that it is our turn, that we must leave a legacy for our children and all the children. It is that time and place. We are the ones we have been waiting for. For that, let us sing out and be eternally grateful. Let's rise in body and spirit, and join in singing our closing hymn, the African American Spiritual, Come and Go With Me. We'll sing all 4 verses. The words will be on the screen.
Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land when I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There will be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There will be justice in that land. There will be justice in that land where I'm bound. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land where I'm bound.
I want to thank Elliot Blanco for lighting our chalice this morning. I don't think I mentioned his name. I want to remind you that next Saturday evening we have a candlelight service right here in the sanctuary at 5:30, traditional lessons and carols, UU style. And on Sunday next, on Christmas morning, a virtual service only. So anybody who shows up here will be disappointed, but if you go online, you will find us there. It is that time and place. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Let us be the change we want to see in the world. And let us sing out and be eternally grateful. Our choral benediction will be led by the choir, but the words will be up there on the screen, so you have another opportunity to sing out. Be the change. Have a wonderful day.